Morning everyone, and thank you for joining me on this Sage Intelligence webcast. Today I want to take you through using Sage Intelligence and Power BI. This is the final series webcast on our X Factor report writers, and we will be sharing that playlist with you as well. Just
Those
so
who
that you
don't
are
know me,
aware,
my name is
today's
Carmen,
webcast
and
will
I'll be
be
hosting this webcast today.
recorded and provided to you in an email. All participants are muted for the duration of the webcast, but if you have any questions, please type them in the Q&A control panel or email me afterwards at carmen.griesel@sage.com. What I'm covering today is going to be showing you the report utility tool, which will just give you an understanding of how many different reports that you have available for you. Then I'm going to take you through to the report manager and how you get those free reports into your report manager and how you can distribute them so that you can then save them to a OneDrive folder and then use them in your Power BI reports. So I'm going to show you the desktop report where we're going to create our sales commission report, and then show you how I'm going to publish it to the cloud, and then that will become available on my phone or on my iPad or tablet. So firstly, the report utility tool. If you're looking to find this, go to our sageintelligence.com website, and under resources you'll find additional reports. From there you would select your integration, and then you would download our reporting tool app, and that will give you the latest updates on any free reports that we have created for you to use. Once you've got these reports in your report manager, you may then want to distribute them to a OneDrive account where you can then upload them to Power BI and then have that refreshed. So I'm going to show you a bit of distribution. We do have loads of webcasts and short videos on distribution, which I will include in our mailer when we send out. I've created this sales reps commission dashboard, and I'll show you how I've done that. Also, we can look how you can actually then further customize it for a particular sales rep, for instance. And then how to publish it into the cloud so that you can view it mobily on your phone or your tablets. Okay, so let's get started. Firstly, I just want to make sure that you all know where to access those additional reports. What you need to do is you need to go to our sageintelligence.com website, and you'd go to resources and additional reports. Once here, you will scroll down and you'll find your integration. Okay, now I'm using 300 for today's example, but you could use it for any of these integrations. As you can see, you would need to download the report utility tool, and then you'll have access to any of these free reports, and they will automatically be placed into your report manager once you've downloaded that tool. And you can see we've got projects and job costs, we've got financial reports, dashboards. So it's worthwhile going to have a look at these reports, seeing what's available, seeing how your data looks in it. And I'm going to show you that how to do this right now. So once you've downloaded your report utility tool, then you would want to go and install it. Once installed, okay, which is 3 easy steps, you then have an icon saved on your desktop. Once you click on that, and I would suggest clicking on it maybe once a month, just to see if there's any new reports, you can see any new reports would be selected, and any ones that you already have in your report manager, I'll just show you, would be unticked. So you can see how many reports we have created for you to further investigate your data. Today I'm interested in our sales commission report, and as you can see, I've removed it from my new reports so that I can download it and show you how this works. So I'm going to select none because I don't want to download all of them. I'm just going to download my sales commission for now. Then I'm going to click on download. And then that automatically places that report in my new folder report. So I'm just going to refresh that by double clicking on my folder, And if I go down, you can see there's my sales report now available for me. Now this is great. Let's run it out. You can use it with your own data. You don't need to change anything. It should automatically pull your company's data into this report. I know for a fact that I'm going to pull this for a year. So I'm going to select 2019 and Jan. More than likely you want to run it for a month. So it's up to you how you want to run your data. And I'm going to click OK. So I'm just entering the parameters in. I have not needed to change this report to pull in a particular company details. I'm just running it out. Okay, and then when I go to that report, you can see I can then open it up, and there's my sales commission report. Now what's great about this is that it's Excel. Everyone loves Excel and knows Excel well. You could possibly go in and then add additional information if you wanted to by just clicking on your chart, right clicking, and then showing fields, and then that gives you your pivot table data that you can then add additional information onto that. So it's quick and easy to then go and customize, and all you would need to do once you've customized this particular report is go back to the report manager and select the report and click Save Excel Template. Now, just to show you the functionality and how you can do this and how our reports actually work. If I unhide my data sheet, okay, which is technically my sheet 1, this has all my information in it, and here I can then go and see what fields are available for me. Now obviously I know my data on this particular report, and I know that at the moment as it stands there is no target pulling for my actual salesperson, and I actually want to see against the target how my salesperson's doing. So the functionality of Sage Intelligence allows you to quickly add additional columns from your data without having to know too much about databases and etc. So if I go to the end, you can see you got total sales there. So what I want to now do is I want to go and have a look at my report manager, and under my columns I want to see if there is any target available in my columns. To add a new column into my Excel workbook, all I need to do is click on Add, and I, for instance, know that this amount here, or this field over here, is my actual target amount. Now obviously depending on your different databases, the naming may be better, but you would just need to identify which fields those are, and you click OK, and then that adds the target in there for you. So now all we need to do is go back and run that report out, and you'll see that report actually now keeps that target for that particular salesperson. Okay, so I've selected my parameters, I click OK. Perfect. So let's go look at my third report there. And if I go and unhide my data sheet and go to the end, you can see now I've got my targets in there for my individual salespersons. So that's great, because now I can actually use it in my pivot tables to then go and further customize this particular report. Now what we can do is we can actually save this to our OneDrive file. So if you have someone that is running out your reports on a monthly basis, you can ask them to go File, Save As, and save it to a OneDrive account, okay, where you can just select it over there. And you can save it in here. So I'm just going to name this version 1. Okay. So that's one way of distributing this particular report, which you can then pick up and then while you're on the move, and then view that report in Excel, okay, on Excel Online. The other way you could possibly do this is you would want to distribute it via the BI Tools tab. Okay, now I've got webcasts on this and how you can distribute it using the distribution tools. But what will happen is if you were distributing it via email, you would have to set your email Outlook up. And just close that down. And if you were managing the instructions, this is basically just how you would send those distribute this particular report out. So if I go add, and I'm just going to say sales commission, click OK. You've got 3 different methods of distributing the report from within the report. So I can email it to someone, which is great, but for this particular purpose, it's not going to solve my problem. I need to save it in a location that everyone can access and that it can then automatically be updated. So I want to go to File Publish. So I'm going to select Enable, and then I can browse to where I want to save this particular report, which is going to be in my my OneDrive account under my Power BI. Okay. Click OK, and I'm going to give my report a name. So I'm going to say sales.com, and I'm going to put V2 as the second version of this particular report. I'm going to save it as an Excel workbook, and I'm going to click OK. Then what I would need to do is I could either click Send Now, and then that will go and save a copy of this onto that file, into that file for me. Or I could go into Select Instructions and my sales.com, and which reports do I want to allow this person to see, or what file, worksheets I want to be able to save into that file, and I want all of them. And you see this little tick box over here. If you were distributing it to send automatically, then you need to have that ticked. And I'm going to click OK. And then I'm going to save my report back. So I'm going to go back to my report manager. I'm going to click on my report, and I'm going to save template. It's going to be this one here. Okay. No, I lie. Cancel. Okay. Click on the report, save Excel template. It's that V1 that we saved originally. So click OK. Yes, I do. That's fine. Yes. So now that's saving it, as you can see at the bottom over here. And it's linked that particular report with the distribution settings that I've set up. Now, if you're using just the BI Tools distribution, all you would need to now do is go into Tools, and you would schedule a command. So you can either use system variables here, but because I know the date in particular that I want to run it for, I'm going to just select Jan, and I'm going to run this for Jan as well, December. Click OK. That then copies the code to my notepad, or to my copy file. So what I can do is click OK. That's fine. And I can then go Task Scheduler. I am going to set up a new task. I'm going to give it a name, Sales.com. Triggers, I'm going to add a new trigger. So when do I want to do it? I want to do it maybe once a weekly. For this particular instance, I'm going to leave it as today's date, and I'm going to say 20. Then what I want to do is I want to click OK. And then actions, what are we going to do? I want to basically paste that code into here, and then click OK. Yes. Click OK. And then that will run out as often as I've set it up. So we'll leave that as is for now, and as you can see, I've only got version 1 there, and we should have another report come through. So I'm going to minimize that again. The other way you can distribute a report without having to go into the report itself and just run it out and then save it to a file server is if I go down to show account, show advance. you'll see you got generate output file over here. That is how you would just select those your eclipses, and then you'd go where you want to save that particular report. So I want to save it here, give it a name. So I'm going to go Sales.com, and I'm going to go Power BI, and then you can even give it a date. So I'm going to go date. And that is our system variables. So if you're wanting to know more about that, just go and type in system variables in our Sage Intelligence website, and you'll get some tips and tricks on how to use that. And I'm going to click save. Then what you would do is you would then automatically select your schedule command and set up your task scheduler. That will then also save that report to your folder for you. So what should happen is I should now get 2 reports actually coming in here, because my I've selected generate output file when this report is run. Okay, so what's going to happen now is it's going to go and run out your report, and you can then go and customize and create a Power BI report off of that data. And that's what I'm going to show you now. So what I've done is, if I come out of this one, I've created this Power BI dashboard as a report on my desktop using the desktop tool. So to do something like this, all you need to do is you would need to obviously install Power BI as a desktop product. You'd also need to sign in with your Microsoft Office username and password, and you will get a free trial version of Power BI. So what I suggest you do is, we've got quite a few webcasts on how to set this up. I'd go in and check it out and watch all those short videos and webcasts to see exactly what you need. But this, as a basic, is how you would set it up. What you need to do firstly is go and get that information that you saved on that OneDrive. So I'm going to go get data, and it's just an Excel workbook that we've updated. So I'm going to click on Excel workbook, and there you can see, oh, my 2 reports have now just run out. There's my Sales.com as well as my Sales.com BI, Power BI. So now what I can do is I can actually select that information and further customize the report. So let's go and do that. I'm going to select the Sales.com, the Power BI one, and I'm going to click on open. What that does, it connects this report to that Excel workbook, so that when you update it, it then updates your Power BI. And that's also more information you want on that. You can get that off our playlist. Okay, so what information from that workbook do I want to actually pull out? Now, remembering when we run out a report in Sage Intelligence, we've placed everything in a name range called raw data. So if you go in and select raw data as the name range, the data that you want to pull out, you're pulling all the information every single time you run out that report. So my suggestion to you is, if you go down, this is a bit, let's just go back. Let's do that again. Get data. Is that downloaded? Doesn't look like it's fully downloaded it properly. So let's just use this one over here. Okay, so it should have raw data over here. And I'm going to load that. That gives you a lot of information that you can then create and build your report on. Now, obviously, what I want to see in this particular report is going to be an overall manager's view. Okay, so I want to be able to filter the report by salesperson, by month. I also want to be able to see the target versus the sales, and also a chart showing me the month sales throughout the year. So let's go and create that. The first thing I would do is go and look at my data. So I'm going to click on the relationships icon, and you can see it looks very similar to a database. And if you haven't seen a database, don't stress. All you need to know is these are your fields or columns inside your actual Excel workbook. Okay, and what I want to do here, and this is just another tip on top of those other webcasts that we've given, so you don't need to know anything about databases. You could just be working with the columns inside that Excel workbook. So one of the things I wanted to show you today is how we can use the data inside here to create the report. So to show you how we may need to change some columns or create additional columns, I'm going to show you how the report will look like at the moment. So if I go back to where the graph icon is, I'm going to firstly give my report a name. So I'm going to say sales commission, and then I'm going to go manager's view. Okay, I'm going to just change this to make it a bold. Oh, undo. Make it bold and bigger. So it's very similar to how you would work in Excel. You've still got some functionality there that looks like Excel. Okay, so let's give my report a title. I also maybe want to go and insert an image, which if I go down to my pictures, I've got my Sage Intelligence logo. I'm just going to make it smaller and put it at the end. Okay, so you can customize it as you want. That's just making it look pretty. Now what I want to do is I actually want to go in and add my filters to this report. Okay, and to add my filters to this particular report, you can see over here on my right hand side you got filters, you got page level filters, and that's where I want to put my filters in. Okay, now I know, and I've told you before, that I want to basically pull in my sales rep as well as the month. So if I go sales rep, okay, and then I also want the month. Okay, now if I do the month, I'm going to do document date for now, and I want to show you what happens. Okay, so I'm going to go document date in here, as well as my salesperson. So firstly, my salesperson, I want to see it as a drop down list, so I'm going to click on the filters there, and then I'm going to select drop down list, and then that allows me to then go in and select my different sales reps. Okay, let's just untick him, move that up. For the year, okay, as you can see, you've got the year. So if I take that out, what you will see, oh, hang on, let's just do that again. I want to make it a drop down list, and you'll see that you'll get a slicer inside there. Okay, so instead of that, I want to actually see a drop down, but when I do the drop down over there, you can see it brings in every single day of the month. So what I want to do is change this to only look at the month, and then I can choose it by month, because I wouldn't be interested in each day that report has been run out on. So I'm going to go and change this document date now. So I'm going to remove that by pressing delete. I'm going to go back to that raw data, and I'm going to say query. Okay, edit query. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go look for my document date, which is this one over here. And I'm going to right click on the top of the header there, the column header, and I'm going to say duplicate column, because it's the right column, but it's showing me the wrong information and not the information I want to see. So first thing I'm going to do is I want to rename it, rename to month. Okay. Then I'm going to change the format of that. So I'm going to transform it to month, and I'm going to say the name of the month. Let's just do that again. And there you can see it's actually populated the name of the month now for me. Great. So now we can go back. So I want to close and apply my query. And if I go back in here, you can see now I've got a month option here. So when I select that, it brings it into like a list, and then I can change it to a filter. And there you have your month. So I can filter this whole report by sales rep as well as month. So let's just go and remove this one. We want sales by month. There we are. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is actually add some charts. You know, just as you've done in Excel before, you want to see it visually, and this is what we're going to do. So the first thing I want to do is look at the target versus this amount sold. Now remembering we added this target amount over here, okay? And what we can do is we can rename it to say target, so we know what we're working with. Okay, so we'll go down to the bottom, and we're going to rename total sales to sales, and this just makes life easier when you're actually working with the actual charts. So I'm going to pull in target, and then I want to select sales as well. So where's my sales? Okay, and I actually want to see this inside an actual graph, which is going to be the gauge graph. Okay, so I'm going to select gauge, and you can see it's populated that information. But I want target to go down to target, and I want sales to go into the value. And then that actually gives me my gauge there for me to use. Okay, and my target can also go into there as well. Now once you've set this up, okay, you can see because we've changed the field names, it actually says sales, target, and target. Okay, so let's just get rid of that one for now. I'm going to place that over here, make it smaller. Remember, I also mentioned that we want to see all our sales by month. So to do that, I need to pull in sales. So if I go up to sales, and then I say month, okay, and let's do it by chart. There's a nicer way of doing that. Let's remove that one. Let's go month, and then go sales. And let's have a look at our charts. There we are. Okay, now as you see, currently it's showing our months, but it's using our months column. And because our months column is pulling in just the text of that particular month, it is not in order. So what we would need to do is change this month over here to the document date. So let me show you how to do that. I'm going to close that out, move document date into Access, and I'm going to remove the year, the quarters, and the days, because I only want the month. And there I have it in January to December. Now remember, all these charts are all you can drill down on them, and by selecting a particular month, you're actually changing your targets and sales for that particular month. It's another way of viewing your information. Let's just make that slightly smaller and move that up. Another chart that you may also want to see is your top sales persons. Okay, so I'm going to select sales rep, so it pulls in the name, and then I'm going to say total sales, which is my sales. And at the bottom of this over here, visual filter, I'm going to select the sales rep name, and under filter type, I'm going to select top number, and I'm going to say 2. And then it's asking me, how do I want to filter this? And again, I'm going to have to select my sales. I'm going to click apply, and now it's bringing me my top 2 sales reps. Now I want to see this as a card, so I'm going to select my card like that, and you can see it's now giving me my top sales reps with their sales amounts in them. Now that's great, but I kind of want to give this a heading. So this is the reason why you need to work with Power BI, learn a bit more about it, so that you can find out how to add these additional tweaks to make your report more user friendly. So I'm going to click on this formatting icon over here, and then I'm going to go down to card title, and it doesn't have that one. Where is it? Title here. I'm going to say select, and over here I'm going to say top 2, and as I type you can see it's coming above that Bill's name there. Top 2 sales reps. Okay, and I'm going to be make it a little bit funky. I'm going to make it dark and then make the writing white. And I can put that up over there. The other thing that you may also want to see is all your sales reps maybe in a pie chart to identify how they are doing against each other. So I can go sales reps again. I can put in what information I want to pull from them, which is your sales. And then I'm going to change the chart to a donut chart. And there that will give you a visual identification of who's doing better. Let's just do about that there. Okay. And you also may need to see your customers. So maybe your top 5 customers. Again, you find your column or your field inside the fields over here. So I'm going to go customer name, which is this one. And I'm going to say sales. And I'm then going to go and filter my customer name by the top, let's say 5. And then by what? I'm going to say sales and apply. So it's only bringing my top 5 sales persons, and if I want to maybe see that in a chart, I can then do so. Or I could then also place it into this chart over here, and I can then just make that bigger so I can see my salespeople's names. And you can then also sort by sales, and you have your top 5 salespersons there. Now what's great about this is that you can also change the chart colors if you need to. All you need to do is make sure that little card is selected or your chart is selected. You go to your formatting and your data colors, and I'm going to change this to, let's make it musty color. Okay, so depending on how you want to set it up and with your company colors, you can then set that report up. So I'm going to save this now. Okay, so I'm going to go File, Save As, and I'm going to go use my OneDrive account, and I'm going to give it a name. So this one I'm going to say is Sales Reps Commission, and I'm going to save. So that's saved your report, but now you kind of want to make it mobile. So if someone updates the workbook and says, hey, please go and check out the sales commissions, you can then go in and actually view that data on your mobile or on your tablet. Remembering we can filter over here by just selecting that. Okay, and we want to now place this into the cloud. So I'm going to click on Publish. Yes. And it's going to ask me, where do I want to place this particular dashboard or report? And I'm going to say underneath my webcasts destination. So I'm going to select Webcast Reports, select that, and then it goes and pushes a version of this report into the cloud for me. Now what I want to do is I want to go and have a look on my online version. Let me just go and see where it is. And under my workspaces, you can see there are those workspaces that I've been using previously, and I've saved that report under Webcast Reports. So if I click on that, you can see you've got dashboards, reports, workbooks, datasets. My report that I saved is under Reports. You can see this is the new one that I've just added. Okay, and I'm going to click on that now. And there you see your report is available. Remembering that you will then be able to see this on your tablet, and then you can also filter the data using the filters that you've set up. Then what you can also do, I'm just going to go back to my desktop report that I've created. I've gone in and added some additional features. I've said total commission paid over there. I've also put a border, which is just a shape over here around my filters so that I can identify them clearly. And I've also gone and set filters. Okay, so when I change my sales rep, I don't want my donut chart to change because it's just going to show Bill alone in that chart. So what I've done is I've actually switched off the filtering on that particular chart. And you do this by going into, where is it now? Hang on. Let's just edit interactions. Okay, so you click on your actual chart, you click on edit interactions, and then you can see once you've clicked on that, do you want to be able to filter the month? Do you want to be able to filter this particular chart or this pie chart? And you can see this one has been affected by that particular sales rep. So is the target. And then if I click on this one, you can see it's not filtering the sales by month. And the reason being is when you select a particular month, you don't want this just to show January. Just like the pie chart, you don't want, if I click that, you don't want the pie chart just to show one person's name. So you may want to play around and remove the filtering off of a certain charts that you get. So if I now change this to Don, you can see my information then changes, but my pie chart doesn't change. If I go to month, let's just take that off. If I go to month and say April, it doesn't change my sales by month. So you need to play around, figure out what's best for you, and then you can filter your report further. Okay, so you're going to ask me, where can I find this information from? All you need to do is go to powerbi.microsoft.com. They've got free little online courses that you can do or videos that you can watch from there. You can also then do that edX course that I'll send to you. Also, if you want more information, we've got a playlist on our Learning Academy, Learning Portal, which you will get in your email. You can also go check out our sageintelligence.com site for any tips on Sage Intelligence and how to use system variables, distribution, but I will be giving you some great tips on that as well. You can also post any comments or feedback on the community, Sage Intelligence community. If you need any help, that's where I would go. And we've also got the Sage Academy, Intelligence Academy, where you can upskill on your Excel skills as well as Sage Intelligence. I mentioned the Learning Portal. On our Learning Portal, on the Advanced tab, you'll find there's a playlist for Power BI. Let me just take you there quickly. Okay, so any integration that you go into, I'm just going to use X3 for now. You go into the Advanced tab at the top, you go into Visual Learning, and if you scroll down, you'll see Power BI and Sage Intelligence. And we've actually got quite a few webcasts on that. And they're getting loads of likes and follows. So please do go and check that out. And as I mentioned, you can connect with us using our sageintelligence.com site, our learning portal, which is learning.sageintelligence.com, or our sageintelligenceacademy.com. We love feedback. So if you found this webcast useful, please do like it. If you have any other questions, pop me an email. And if you think it's worthwhile, please do share it on your social media channels. Thank you.